Yeah, good afternoon. Hello and welcome to the online learning session ABB Trevion Keypad KNX. My name is Thorsten Reibel from the Building Academy Smart Buildings. Together with me is Jürgen Schilder, and we will share this learning session today. The session is planned for around 45 minutes. What is the agenda for today? So around 45 minutes, ABB Trevion Keypad. We had done, 1 month ago already a webinar about the keypad and the Trevion touch panel as well. But today we are concentrating on the Trevion keypad. Small overview of the product and the solution behind. I summarize more or less what we have done already 1 month ago. And then Jürgen will continue with a more practical approach. So going directly into the ETS, talking about the relevant ETS parameter and the commissioning. It's related especially to this swipe operation for dimming, for shutter control, primary function, alarm functions, and also the special LED concept with the RGB light inside will be explained and also demonstrated. And Jürgen has also a video camera to show really how the product is working. So a short overview about the product. The Trevion range consists of the keypad. You see it here. It's a real, let me say, new concept of operation with a capacitive plastic surface, and it's not only for KNX but also for free at home available, and the ABB Flextronic range can be used as a 1-volt, 2, 3, or 4-volt device. And this LED concept will be shown later by Jürgen, and it has also an internal room temperature sensor. Means you can with an external controller also create room temperature control. And the Trevion 2.4-inch display, not the topic today, just for your information, the same design in principle, the same frames available, also for KNX and free at home, but a real LCD touch panel with up to 12 functions on 4 pages. Of course, also swiping is possible there, like on your smartphone. Additional information page with up to 12 status messages is available, so-called proximity sensor. If you approach this device, it will light up, for example, and the brightness of this touch panel can be also adapted to the outside brightness, and also room temperature sensor and also controller is integrated. So coming to the keypad itself, consists of 3 parts in principles. The design cover, I come to this a bit later, the keypad itself, and you click this design cover directly on this keypad, and then of course also a KNX bus coupler is needed. It's for the typical room functions. We have, of course, in more or less every room with lighting control, shutter and blind control, heating, air conditioning, operation, scenes, and more functions if you want. And this usability concept is really different. So it's a pure plastic cover. It's a touchable one. You can not only, you cannot really press on this device. You touch it, of course, and then some function take place, but we have so-called short swipe, long swipe, but everything will be practically shown by Jürgen. And different separations of these surfaces possible. So with 1, 2, 3, or 4-volt. And here you see on the left and right these so-called LEDs. Looking to the range overview. So the product is of course already available, and there's a lot of different components available for the different colors, different ranges we have, but also different these design covers. There are a lot of things available. So first of all, of course, you need this control element. There's only one, and you need the bus coupler. And you put this control element, of course, on this bus coupler, and then we have different covers available. So we have this so-called customized solution. What does it mean? Not yet available, but very soon, hopefully end of this month, we have a so-called configuration tool on our homepage to configure your own design, means your own icons or your own text on this cover plate. So it's a customized solution, but it's only a thin plastic part, so not very expensive, and can be snapped then on this control element. So you create your own individual customized solution. But you get also complete plain covers in different colors, so nothing visible, but also with a so-called separation line or design line called. It's nothing else but a gray line, and but also pre-configured cover plates with different elements, different covers 15, 20 different ones, but if it's not sufficient for you, you go then later to this web configuration tool and create your own cover design. I think a very good solution, very, let me say, flexible, and you create your own final product with this solution. Yeah, you see here some examples. So this is a simple one without any icon, any text, but if you want with a separation of this design line, here for the 4-fold, for example, then these standard icons, you see some examples. And finally, you go to the web configuration tool, creating your own solution, including text if you want. Not only icons, but also text is possible. Good. You know that we have a lot of designs available, and this results also in different components, but only in terms of size. So the width and the height is different. We have 55 millimeter, 63 and 70, and this is related to different designs. 55 you see here for Bush Art Balance, SI, ABB Saga, and so on for the others. So more or less it's the same product, but different size, and you see here the different designs. It's only a bit bigger, but the functionality is the same. There's no difference. And of course, also different colors are available. Some words about the so-called data secure capability of the components. You know that we are continuing now with components which includes also data secure, so secured communication on the KNX bus cable, also available for the Trevion range. So yeah, it's possible to have secured communication, but still non-secured, let's say the plain group addresses can be also assigned to be compatible with any other non-secured components. And on each device, on each bus coupler, we have this device certificate. So it's a QR code, can be scanned with a camera or your smartphone, but also the code itself. And this has to be entered later then in the ETS for commissioning, and then you have a secured communication. We did already here a webinar, I think 2 months ago. Have a look if you're more interested in this topic. We come back to this topic again in an online learning session, but later I will look together with you to the next session we would like to have. So, and last but not least, the functionality, of course, it's room-oriented functions, more or less everything you know already. But later we come to this RGB lighting concept with the LED on the left side. Orientation light is also possible. It's continuously on different light levels. So day and night mode could be interesting to reduce the brightness during the night. Alarming is possible, will be shown also by Jürgen with optical and acoustical information. Primary function, if you press the whole hand on the button, a standard function can be carried out. You can block individual parts of this operating element. You see here the 4-fold. So if you want, you block only the upper 2 parts. The rest is working. It's also possible. And if you touch, an acoustic feedback is available. And also internal temperature sensor for temperature control. And many more functions. Some will be shown also by Jürgen, like logic gates, sequencers, and more functions. I stop now and hand over directly to Jürgen. As mentioned, he will have a very practical approach, and you see a lot of functions now really live. Just a moment, please.
Hello and a warm welcome. Jürgen Schilder is speaking. In the following practical part, I would like to introduce you the new ABB Trevion Keypad live and in action. The focus is on commissioning with the ETS and a practical demonstration. For example, how flexible the device can be used as a 1-fold up to 4-fold touch sensor, and what features the device comes with, like the primary or alarm function. Thanks to the new touch concept based on a capacitive surface, the ABB Trevion offers a completely new way of operation. I will show you the swiping operation and light guide with RGB color concept, and with a camera you can observe the behavior then live. Let me now start with the swiping operation, switch dim slider and blind shutter slider. So on this slide you can see a new type of dimming operating. It is now available as a so-called swipe slide function. We have not a typical push buttons where you press short and long for dimming or for switching. No, we do a so-called fast swiping. So with your finger, you make a fast swiping up or down, and then the Trevion sends a value telegram sends a telegram with 0 or 100%. This is like the on-off function. This is, for example, when you come in the room, you swipe up to switch the light on, or you leave the room, you switch the light off. This is so-called fast swiping, like on and off. And a so-called slow swiping. Slow swiping means you take your finger, you swipe up and down to the desired brightness level, and then the Trevion sends a value telegram between 0 and 100%. The value of the brightness is directly displayed via the static LED here. So we can use it as a static or also a bar graph. This is what I like to show you later. So you see here value between 0 and 100%. Additionally, as an option, you can have a short tap. This is similar like on off. So with your finger, you can press short to switch on and off. It's an option, but I prefer here to use the fast swiping for switching on and off. So the next function is the so-called, here's an example. You take your finger and you swipe, for example, here in the position up and release it, and then he goes to the value. And with this LEDs, you can see here in the bar graph the status of 80%. Then let's come to also a new type of blind operating, which is our so-called blind shutter slider. So here we have similar operation. We have a fast swiping. So with the finger, you fast swipe up and down, and then the Trevion sends a command 0 or 100% to the shutter actuator, like to drive the shutter complete up and down. Like you come in the room, you would like to drive completely down your shutter, you swipe here in the position down. And this is in a fast operation. So with the slow swiping, you can move your shutter blinds into a target position. And then a telegram between 0 and 100% is sent to your shutter and blind actuator. Afterwards, you can see here then with the LEDs, the status, so the height of your shutter and blinds via colors like you set in the ETS parameter. So additionally, we have here then a kind of animation. So thanks our new light concept, we have here running lights on the left side, which visualize you the movement of the blinds. Like here, you take your finger, you swipe down, and after you reach the position of, let me say 80%, then you see here 80% of your shutter is here and exactly in this position. So then let's come to this light guide with RGB LED concept. At first, we have the first big advantage is here. We have not a fixed color like in our other control elements with red, green, blue, white. So no, you can define here maximum 4 RGB colors and use these colors for the stages or also then here for the running LEDs for this animation. So with these LEDs, we can use this as a typical status, like here, you see at the moment the brightness, for example, 75%. And during the operation, we can use it additionally to support here our operation. That's what also later I show you then live. So we have here behind 4 LEDs, but it's a homogeneous illumination. So you see not only like here 4 individual LEDs, it's like really a homogeneous illumination of these LEDs. Like here on the left side, right side, you see this animation. When you drive here the shutter up, you see then here this running light. Good, then let's come to a practical demonstration. Today I would like to go into the ETS and show you real how we set the parameters and how we operate then here our ABB Trevion keypad. So I would like to do a small exercise. We use here our Trevion on the left side. I would like to use it with a dim slider, and on the right side to control here my shutter and blinds also via the sliders. Of course, you can use also the standard operating like with short and long press, like in a standard control element. But here today I would like to show you now these sliding functions. So we have to go in the ETS to the configuration and set a parameter that we have a 2-gang rocker with vertical, like here, left and right. So then we get a so-called parameter operating areas. This is a new word. Operating area 1, 2, 3, 4 means this is my operating area 1. On the right side, operating area 2, operating area 3, and operating area 4. And now I have set a parameter. I would like to have 2-gang rocker vertical, and then here my operating area 1 and operating area 3 is now my switch dim slider. And on the right side, my operating area 2 and 4 is now my blind shutter slider. Additionally, I want to use this LED animation, so the running LEDs. Now, when the shutter here drives down, this LED should run down or should run up to show the movement of my motor. So further, I want to have a primary function to call a welcome scene, like I come in the room and I touch with my complete hand this element, and then I can trigger a so-called primary function. So to show an alarm, we use the alarm function. So in case of an alarm, water alarm, the LEDs should become red and we get an acoustic sound. And if there's no operation after a fixed time or via group a telegram, we can activate the orientation light that we don't see here the LEDs of the status that we have here white and on the right side, for example, white to show there's a control element in the corner. I have to go there and then I can do operating. Good, this is now my exercise. Let's go to the ETS and I show you now everything here in real. Here you can see a prepared ETS project. In the line, I have a universal dim actuator, UDS, a blind roller shutter actuator, and a USB interface. You can see that here all flags are now visible of the dimmer and the shutter actuator. It means that these two devices are parameterized, downloaded, and they are now in operation. So everything is done. Because today we want to put the focus on our ABB Trevion. Now I go here to the catalog and I add a device from the catalog into my line. So if you know here maybe the name, the short name of the device, you can go in the search folder and enter it like KK/U4 means here we have these 4 operating areas, 55, this is here the size of my design range. So you see the device appears here in my catalog, KKU454 via drag and drop. I add this device now here to my project. So I have to wait some seconds. And by the way, you can see there is a blue shield before the manufacturer and the name. This means that we have here a data secure device. And now when you add a data secure or IP secure device in your project, what happens? You see the camera pops here up and here I can now enter this so-called device certificate. You know that all devices, they come here with this code. On like here, this is the QR code, and I can show now this code here into the camera, and then it will be automatically assigned to my device. You can do it now via the camera, or I do it later, for example, because today we don't want to use the device as a secure one. So the first step is we say no secure. We go here on the right side in the menu properties. We have secure commissioning and we deactivate the secure commissioning because in this webinar today, we don't want to use secure. And now you see the blue shield disappears and shows us that this device now is worked in the standard mode, plain, not secure. So before we start with the parameter, it's highly recommended to enter here a useful name to the device, where the device is installed, room, floor, and so on. I enter here only name ABB Trevion Keypad, which is okay, Trevion Keypad, and here slider, because today I want to show you the slider functions. Good, this is the first step. So then we start with the parameters. So you see, we click here on the buttons parameters, and then we get here all the parameters. This Trevion Keypad does not need a device configuration app. So here we have our native ETS application. Good, then let's start with the first one, which is here our configuration. And the configuration menu, sorry, we can in the configuration menu, we can configure here our mode. Would we like to have here 1 gang, 2 gang with horizontal or vertical rockers, 3 gang with 1 horizontal and 2 buttons or vertical, or as a 4 gang here with 4 individual buttons. Remember on my example, I want to have here my layout number 3 with 2 vertical rockers. Then we see here our so-called operating areas, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come to the next parameter, primary function. Primary function means when you enter the room, you touch the complete sensor with your hand or at least 3 fingers, we can activate here our so-called primary function, like a welcome scene. So I click here and enter and set here the parameter like a scene. So what makes sense is to add here a user-friendly name. Which scene, for example, so-called welcome scene. Welcome, enter here the name, scene, XYZ or something. So, and then we have here, depending our settings, layout, operating area 1.3. This is here our left rocker. We can use it here as a typical switch, 2-button switch, blind shutter, 2-button. This means then we drive up and down with short and long, like you know it from all other control elements. Blind shutter as a slider, switch dim, 2-button switch dim. And here we have our switch dim slider. This is what we want. Or you see we have more options. We have a sequence, switching sequence with 2 buttons. We can call scenes. And we have also multiple operation or to send values. You see many possibilities to use here this device. So I select now here the switch dim slider and enter here again a useful name. This is, for example, my light in my dining room. Okay. So, and on the right side, my right vertical rocker, I would like to control my shutter and blind via slider. So I select here blind shutter slider and enter here again a name. For example, what is it? This is my blinds in my dining room. So it makes really sense to enter here name because on the left side, you can see then my primary function. And the primary functions, you can see exactly this text here, welcome scene, XYZ. Or here, my operating area 1 and 3, I have here added a text, enter the text like dining room. And you see here operating area 1, 3, like dining room. Temperature sensor, I don't want to use it. Function. So we have here up to 5 functions. These 5 functions are independent in the operation. So you can use one of these functions, for example, for priority or for logical functions, for gate, so for external logic, or staircase lighting, and also a sequence, a scene actuator, and very nice, a sequencer. So here we have built in a sequencer functions to call, for example, different scene steps. Also very nice function built here inside. But here today, I would like not to use here this function. Good, this is the first step, layout 3, select here dim slider left and blind shutter slider on the right side, plus my scene function. So then we continue with the next, our so-called device settings. And the device settings, we can enable the group object in operation, then he sends cyclically every 5 minutes a live signal, but I don't want to use it today. So then we come here to our LED settings. Remember, we have the possibility to adjust here our four own defined colors and to use these colors for our LEDs, for the status or for this running light. So we click here on these buttons of these colors, and then you have the possibility via the slider to mix here the color, or you take here your slider and mix here your color. So many red, green, blue, what do you prefer? Or use the HSV color concept is also here possible. So I want to use, for example, here a color which is like pink, purple, it doesn't matter, or is it like this one here? This looks good. So I take this one for my user-defined color number 1 and user color number 2. I take here a little bit green and a little bit, what is it? A little bit red. So this sounds good. And maybe here blue finished. So here I use today 2 colors, this pink and my little bit green. So next parameter, enable day-night switch. Yes, and then we have the possibility to change the brightness of the LEDs at night, maybe to reduce it to the half brightness. But here we don't use it. Enable orientation light. Yes, that's what I want to use. For example, the color then is white of my LED strips and the brightness should be, for example, full 100%. But how we activate this orientation light? 2 possibilities. via the device. So after 5 minutes, there was no operation. The status LEDs switch off and becomes now white color. Here you can define the time, or you activate this orientation light via group object, maybe via time switch or something. Here I keep it, for example, 5 minutes. So, but what I want to use today is the alarm function. So we activate now the alarm function, and the alarm function, we said now here we want to have the optical alarm, of course, and then all LEDs should become red. Or you can use now yellow, red, orange, violet, blue, green, or one of your 4 defined colors. Remember, we have here pink and this green. So I think it makes sense to use the red color for alarm. The brightness, of course, here full 100%. And I would like to have also an acoustic alarm. So I tick it here and then we can hear the beep beep. Acoustic feedback, when you touch it, yes, loud or quiet. It's okay, I want to have a loud acoustic feedback, and the touch sensitivity for the primary function. So when you touch it with your complete hand or at least 3 fingers, or here for the operating area, keep it like this, high, medium, or low. This is what you have to test. What is the best settings for you or for the customer? Good, so far the device settings. Then we come to the primary function. Primary function, remember I have said here that we would like to call a scene. Here I have to enter the name of the scene, like for example, a scene between 1 and 64. I use here the scene number 3. So when I press short, then he calls the scene number 3. And when I press long, then he saves the scene. So he sends a command to all my linked actuators. Now save your current values for next time when someone calls the scene. Or we can recall another scene when we press long, also possible. Good, so far our primary function. Then we come here to our operating area 1.3. This is then, remember, our left vertical rocker. We have the possibility here to do a short push. Short push means like a typical sensor on off, or we can use here a fast light for switching on off. Short push, I think it's not good because here we want to use the sliding function, so I deactivate it and I use the fast slide with up and down to switch the light on and off. So then I select here a value 0 and 100%. So when I make a fast slide down, he sends a value 0%, and a fast slide up, then he sends a telegram of 100%. So via this fast slide, I switch the light on and off. And via the slow slide, I can dim the value. So I put my finger and move it up and down, and then I can dim between 0 and 100%. So when I want to use the LED animation, yes, of course. So for example, for my foreground color, I use now the user-defined color number 1. Remember, this was my pink. And for the background color, you can use another color, but I prefer to use off. So it's better to show you it live in the camera when we say here off. So we use only one color. Later, when we slide here with the finger up and down, then it becomes the color here off. So then we come here to the LEDs of my operating area on the left side. I can use it as a function illumination, but now I change it here to status. Status, then I can use it for 1-bit information that the light of dimmer is on or off. But now I want to do more. I want to use here the 1-byte information, the status object. Then I can use it as a static light to show, depending on my brightness value, with different zones, maximum 5 zones, the color changes. This is like we have it also in other sensors. Here we have the new function with our light concept, a bar graph. A bar graph means the LEDs shows me really the value between 0 and 100%, really like a bar. So at first I have to select here the color of the bar. Like here, I use it for light, I use yellow. And for the background color, I use here off. It's also better here later when I show it you in the camera. And the bar graph direction should be normal. Okay, so we keep it like it is. Then we come to our operating area on the right side. This is my blind shutter slider. So here again, I can define if I would like to have a short push. For shutter, yes, it makes sense because I would like to stop my shutter motor, and I would like to change the angle of the slats of the lamellas. So when I make a fast light, he sends a telegram 0, 100% to drive completely up or down. And when I make a slow slide, then he sent a telegram between 0 and 100%, depending on the position of my finger. Go to 25%, 36, 79, and so on. So what else? LED animation. Yes, I would like to have it. This running LEDs. So I set here parameter, adjust and movement. So when the shutter moves, the motor, then I see it here, this running LEDs. I can select here color. What would I like to have? Blue, red, green, white. I prefer to use here, for example, red, orange, only as an example. And the background color, I set here, okay. Oh, sorry, no, I would like to use not here red, orange. I would like to use my color number 2. Sorry, my user-defined color number 2. And the background, I say here off. Then we come here to the LEDs. Here, similar, we would like to use the LEDs for the status after the operation is done. So I click here on status, the 1-byte information, and again, I would like to use here the bar graph to show the position, the height of my shutter and blinds. So again, I can define here the bar graph color for the status. So for the status, I use here the red, orange, and the background color, it's better to see it in the camera, here to use a off. But here for the bar graph direction, I have to use the inverted direction. I would like to show really the height, the position of my shutters. Good, okay. So far, these are the settings we have to make here in our example. Then we come to our group addresses. So we go here to our group objects. Then you will see here the list. You see here the overview of our group objects, like here for the alarm, for the scene. Yeah, and then we link now our group addresses. I open here my group address view, go here to my group addresses. I have created here still a dining room with the middle group central. And here's my group address for the scene, which is still linked with my shutter actuator and my dim actuator. So via drag and drop, I link it here to my primary function scene. And you see here again, the name, welcome scene XYZ. So this is a good possibility to compare really. Oh yes, this is my correct group object. So now when to enter this user-friendly text in the ETS parameter, it is also here updated in the name of the group object. So what else? We have then our alarm. Alarm I have here in my middle group number 4. Water alarm, link it here to the object alarm. Get here this acoustic alarm. So then we come here to the middle group lighting. Middle group lighting, I have here at first to take the group address with the brightness value. Remember, he sent the brightness value between 0 and 100% when we move, or short, for example, when we make this short swipe. So I link exactly this group address here to my object, to my operating area 13, switch dim, here dimming value. So, and to see the correct status, I have to link the group address 3150, which is the status of the brightness value between 0 and 100%, then here to my LED. So far we need only these 2 group addresses, the brightness value and the status of the brightness value. Then let's come to the shutter and blinds. Here at first we have to link the group address for this short push to stop, or to change, for example, the angle of the lamella of the sled. So I take now my group address and link it here to my object step and stop. This is then this short push. So the next group address I have to take is to the move to a position height. This group address, I link it here to this object operating area, move to height. Yes, it's okay. So then I need a group address that the motor is moving. This is the information which comes from my shutter actuator to start and stop this animation, this running LEDs. So I take this group address and link it then here to my object. 29, sorry, to my object. Here is it status move up down. It's a 1-bit object. The value is 1 if the motor moves up and down, and when he stops, he sends the value 0. Good. What else? I have to link the group address here of the status of the height, which comes from my actuator, and link it then here to my object of the LEDs. And then my LEDs shows the correct position of the height. So here we have to link minimum 4 of these group addresses for shutter control. Good, so far. Then next step, we make a download. I can close now here my group addresses. So I select here device, check my USB interface. Yes, everything is correct. So I click here on my device, make the download of the individual address. Before I made a factory reset here of my Trevion keypad. So now let's move a little bit here the window to show you parallel my camera. So please wait. So here we have the camera. Yep. So here on the left side, we see the Trevion bus couple unit, because here we have to press the programming button. We are in the non-secure mode. Then we have to press here. And by the way, here our shutter actuator and then the dim actuator. Good, let's start. Click here and make a download. Download, where's the button? Download individual address. Okay, please press programming button. So then, take here my screwdriver and press the programming button. You will see the red LED now is on. He is in the programming mode and he's waiting for the new individual address. He will get the address 541. And before we download the ETS application, we have to check the firmware version. We recommend that we use always the latest firmware version in our actuators, in our KNX devices. So we are a special app which is free of charge. You can check the firmware. It's a so-called ETS firmware app. You can download it from our website or from the KNX online shop and add it and install it in the ETS. Of course, it's free of charge. So I show you now this app. So we go here to panels and firmware update tool. Next step, our firmware update tool appears here. So we can maximize it a little bit. So I click on the button, check device status of my line number 454, and then this tool now scans my line, which I have selected here. Now he finds my universal dim actuator and here my Trevion keypad, and you see it's the equal version. If it's a former version, then it's highly recommended to make here the firmware update. So you click here, you select the device and click on the button firmware update. But here you see everything is up to date. Yeah, and then we can download the ETS application, select the device, download ETS application, and then the ETS downloads this application to the device. And I now connect the keypad, including the frame. Okay. Oh, download is still running. Okay, download finished. Oh, everything looks good. And we can start now with the operation. So we see here, status LED, everything is off. With a fast swipe, I can switch here on the left side, my light on. You see, I go here up, fast swipe up, the light goes on. You see here the status on the left side, it is here yellow. Let me move a little bit. Yeah, you can, the camera is a bit difficult, but here you see this is the yellow light on the left side. So now when I swipe here fast down, tuck, it's off. You see now the LEDs shows the status here, it is off. So a slow swipe, like here I take my finger and you see now purple or pink. This is my user-defined color. During the operation, he shows me exactly here the position. Here maybe 20%, 50%, 80%. So this light concept guides me here via the operation. When I release my finger, he goes, for example, here to 80%, and the yellow LED shows me now here then the status. Or here dim darker, go here to 20%, for example, and after he has reached this 20% or 10%, it's here. Okay, so far it works. Short push, no operation, nothing happens because I have deactivated this short push. If you want, you can activate it. Then we come to our shutter and blinds, the same here, fast swipe down, then he drives in the position down, and you can see here this running LEDs, yeah, to show you, okay, now at the moment, shutter blinds the driving in the position down. When he reached the position, you see now my red orange. This is now my status. And the same again, fast swipe up. And now the LEDs, you see they are running in the other direction because here it drives in the position up. You see the running LEDs here and the position up. Now, when he reached the upper position, 0%, you see all LEDs are off. The same again, down. You see the running LEDs, visualize you now, the motor drives down, the shutter blinds go down. Okay, full down 100%. And when you make a swipe, a slow swipe, you can drive it in the position. Like for example here, and you see on the right side, you see it guides you also. Then you release your finger, and then he drives and the position up, maybe to your desired target, for example, 50%, 40%. When he reached the position, then he shows you here then the status of, for example, 50%, 60%, and so on. So this is a typical operation here of this ABB Trevion keypad, including here our animation. Good. So what else? Not only the operation, also the primary function. Remember, primary function, we activate it or is carried out when with the entire surface of your hand is touched, the keypad, or at least 3 fingers. So now when I come in the room, I touch it here with my 3 fingers. You see now a scene is triggered, the light goes here on, and the shutter drives, for example, here in the position of 50%. And via a long touch, I can here store also the scene. Yeah, also it works. Good, great. So next step is our scene. Okay. Alarm, water alarm. So I have here on my training board another sensor, and with this sensor, I can trigger now an alarm. So now when I change here the position, you see the LEDs becomes red. All LEDs, and the LEDs are flash red. Let me switch off the light. You see now a little bit better. You see red LEDs, and I'm not sure if you can hear the beep, beep, beep. Good. And no more alarm. And then we see again here our status. Good. It works also. Great. Yeah, but there is also one behavior when we now make a new download. Now let's do, or when we make a reset of the device. Maybe I would like to do here reset of the device or restart. I click here, send now a command to my control element, to my Trevion. He makes a restart, but after the restart, you see what happens. No status is visible. Yeah? This is the same like bus voltage recovery, or after this reset or after download, he has no information about the height of my shutters and the brightness value. So what can we do? We can fix this problem. Let's go back to the, let me say, parameters or group objects of my Trevion. And I hope you can remember your basic course. In the basic course, you have learned here these so-called flags. You see, we have a C flag, R, W, T, update, and an I flag. Depending on your ETS settings, this I flag is not visible. If you don't see it, then please make a right mouse click, go here to the I and activate it. And then this I flag here is visible. So we at this I flag, the official name is read on init. The control element can send a read request to an actuator. What's your brightness value? What's your position of the height of the slats and so on? So, but default is not set. So we have to set it manually. So we go here now to our LEDs. LED, this is 1, 3 on the left side for light. Here we have the LED status. And now we click here and we activate now here in this field or here in the properties, this so-called read on init. Additionally, we need an update flag and we need also a transmit flag.
So you see here, we have the W, and we activate the read on init, the transmit, and the update now is set. Okay, then we make again a download. First, I will move a little bit here. Download ETS application. Start the group monitor. You know, download is active. And after this download, you will see that the Trevion sends now a group value read command, and the actuator, which is linked with this group address, sends back a group value response telegram. And then we see here the update of our LEDs. So wait some seconds. Okay, you see here download is finished, is disconnected, everything is fine, everything is good. So, and then you can see here, just a second, here. Then you see here a group value read telegram to the status of the DIM actuator. The DIM actuator sends back a group value response, my brightness value 50%. And then the LED you see here on the left side, 50%. The same here for the status of the height of my shutter actuator. Group value read, we send back a status, my value 75%. And then you see here the height of 75%. So this is, of course, not only basic knowledge, I think a little bit more, but I think you need this function that a customer can see always the correct status of the dimmer, shutter, or switch actuator, and so on. This works also with other panels like the Smart Touch or our Room Touch. So this is here a basic function of KNX, but not everyone knows this possibility, how to update here the status of the LEDs after downloading a control element or a sensor. Good, so far, I think I'm the end of my presentation. I would like to say thank you for your participation, and I hand over now to Thorsten.
Thank you, Jürgen. Yeah, I think a great demonstration about the capability of this ABB Trevion keypad. How was the life easy years ago without any KNX, let's say, with conventional push buttons or switches. And now we have to learn about short push and slow and fast slide and RGB LEDs and light guide and so on. Okay, now I think you've seen a lot of options, very nice product, a bit different. It's a unique device. I think there's nothing comparable in the KNX world, at least on the market. Use it where it's useful, maybe not in a hotel room, but in private houses and residential buildings, of course. But I think you could understood a bit more how the philosophy of this product is and how it works in principle. So my final slide, as always, about our homepage where you find everything around the product, of course, also for these Trevion components already available. So everything online here. Then we have everything stored in our training database. You know, also this recording of this online learning session as a presentation will be stored there as well, but you get it also as a link a bit later. Further trainings in Heidelberg, presence trainings, what is planned? We continue with our so-called certified trainings. In July, we have the certified advanced course. Then in October, the tutor course to become a real KNX trainer. And in November, a further basic course, KNX certified basic course. And if you want, after the basic and advanced course, there's also an additional 2 days application training. Come back to us if you're interested in. We have still some seats available. And just contact us, please. We do right now also presence trainings for free at home in Heidelberg. Short term, I have a further date, end of this month, 25th and 26th of June. There are still 4 seats available. So if somebody of you or your customer is interested in, please come back to me as well. It's a real practical training about free at home, so less presentation, but everybody can, test all the functions and learns how to commission it, which is much easier than KNX. It's a home automation system, but has also a lot of functions. So if you're interested in, please come back to me. But we would like to continue also with further learning sessions. And we just mentioned already the topic data secure. 2 months ago, we had already the webinar, but now we would like to do it also a bit more practical, like today. So online learning session about data secure in practice. And again, with the ETS, of course, and it will be the 10th of July. You will be invited, of course. I send, as always, the invitations and on time. So we say thank you for your participation. Hope to see you next time. We invite you again. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao.